Tick, tock, tick, says the clock as election morning looms in Anambra State. Tick, tick, says INEC as it enumerates materials and officials on ground. Thick, very thick, is the political tension gripping the state called the light of the nation. Tactics and antics of anti-election elements is the work of the policemen on ground. On Political Update today, we've got you covered from the realistic to the optimistic. You're watching, and that's fantastic. I'm Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Welcome. All is now set for the King contest, which has Government House Oka as the grand prize. Stakeholders in Anambra's governorship election have inspected the sensitive materials deployed for the election.
Sensitive materials which are to be used for the governorship election were distributed and moved to each local government area, where they will also be distributed to registration areas or wards, and finally to polling units on election day. INEC National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, stated that the electoral materials will be tracked to ensure there is no diversion, as heavy security personnel will accompany the materials to their various destinations.
We are following our rules and regulations and procedures in terms of moving these sensitive materials to the various local government areas.
Party representatives who were on ground to check the validity of the materials expressed optimism that with the assurances given by INEC, the materials will not be tampered.
I'm satisfied personally, believing that downwards, when we get down to the local governments and the wards, it will be as they have explained.
Well, the intention of those at the top are well intentioned.
So far, if you look behind me, you will see that the REC is countersigning the from EC8B and perhaps the C to show authenticity.
The Anambra governorship election, which will hold on Saturday, is expected to be transparent, free and fair.
And the Nigerian Television Authority will be there all the way to give you news reviews and interviews concerning that election. Let's now join our correspondent, Mia Ogidi, to get an ambience of Anambra with just hours to the election morning. Mia.
Thank you, Fisayo. Anambra is calm, though the streets are getting drier by the second for very obvious reasons. Probably they are going to their various communities or local government areas to exercise their franchise. IPOP suspended the sit at home, so the emptiness of the streets for now has nothing to do with that early announcement. 2.5 million voters in Anambra will decide who leads them early next year. And 5,720 polling units will do justice to that. We recall that 1,112 additional polling units were created and adding up to the earlier 4,602 gives us a total of 5,700 polling units. But one thing will interest to Fisayo, out of the 5,720 polling units, INEC told us that 86 of them are zero, meaning there is nobody to vote. How they created them is another kettle of fish and issue to be debated later. And 894 out of the 5,720 polling units have just voter strength of 1 to 49. And as INEC may put it, they are less than 50 voters. But the exercise will take place. And the resident electoral commissioner of Anambra State, he's been very busy. Dr. Nkwanchuku Oji is here to give us a further highlight to what the preparations and probably explain the empty polling units. Rec, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And welcome to Political Update.
Thank you very much.
It's been a quite busy period. How sure are you that the elections will hold tomorrow?
Of course, you can see that every arrangement is in place. Yesterday, we were able to deliver all the sensitive materials to the local government areas. At the moment, the sensitive materials received by the local government are being batched and being delivered to the RAC centers. RAC is a registration area center, and that's places we have created to hold the election officials and materials prior to their movement to the polling unit tomorrow morning. So I can say that all plans are in motion. We haven't encountered any major difficulty in our operation, and I'm happy to announce that the election will hold tomorrow.
Friends outside the Okaye do ask, we heard that the Onitsha axis is quite a hotspot. How are you comfortable, or what information are you getting from the Onitsha axis? At least we can see for ourselves what is happening in Oka. What are your men telling you from the axis?
Onitsha is not a difficult area for us. For us, we haven't had any cause to, believe that we will not be able, our operation will be interrupted in any of the locations in Anambra State, be it Onitsha or any other place. We have been assured by the security agencies that the situation is calm, and of course, we are in the state, we see it ourselves. There have been a lot of misinformation going on, but you could see how relaxed and friendly the atmosphere has been in Anambra State.
Have you received any call from your men, those that probably...
We haven't received any distress call from any of the nearly 15,000 officials that are already in Oka to conduct the election.
Mia, can you hear me, Mia?
Of them are empty. You even have a term for them, 0 polling units. So what is the fate of those units?
You could recall that in March this year, we started a process of expanding access to polling units. The aim was to, one, decongest the existing polling units that are congested, two, to relocate polling units that are not appropriately located, and three, to amend changes in names of polling units that are not properly named. So these were the three objectives. And we ran that process operation between March and June of this year. And then it led to the creation of additional 112 polling units in Anambra State. And mind you that when we create polling units, what we mean is that we have established a new polling unit that is 0. Nobody is in it. Our expectation is that between June when the continuous voter registration exercise began to August when it ended in Anambra State, that members of the electorates in the state would make transfer into these new polling units or register into these polling units. There's one more method that the Commission would have adopted as a way of populating the new polling unit, which is to evoke our rights, the powers that have been conferred on us legally to assign voters into those polling units. But because it was very close to the election, the Commission decided not to use that power. Rather, we relied on voluntary enrollment into those polling units by the electorates. Okay. And because it was such a short time between the time it was created and elections, there were a few of them that don't have...
And from your analysis, probably as development gets to these areas, in the next subsequent elections, we may have voters here.
Definitely. We will resume voter registration in January.
Okay.
And we expect that between January going forward, there will be people registering.
And none of these are located in shrine and churches and mosques, as we said.
We have done everything within our means to ensure that polling units in Anambra State are located appropriately.
All right, Mia, if you can hear me.
To Anambrians, because a word from you can really motivate them.
Of course, we have been encouraging voters in the state to turn up and exercise their franchise. This is an opportunity that comes only in 4 years. So if you miss this opportunity, you have to wait for the next 4 years. The atmosphere has been made ready by the security agencies. The information we are receiving across all the nooks and crannies of the state is that there's peace and tranquility, and we have supplied materials to all the polling units in this state, and we encourage them to come and vote.
And sometimes last minutes like this, candidates do withdraw. Have you received any resignation from candidates, or all the 18 are going to battle at the ballot? All
the 18 candidates are still in the race as far as we know. Okay. We haven't received any information of any withdrawal.
Thank you very much. At least we are your visitor, you are our host, so we'll invite you more to our studio in Okaye, probably this evening and tomorrow, to be giving us updates.
It will be my pleasure.
Nigerians would really like to hear from you.
It will be my pleasure.
Thank you very much.
You.
Thank you very much. All right, Fisayo, thank you. That is the resident electoral commissioner, Anambra State, and the assurances from him are quite encouraging. So probably when we join you again on Tuesday for political update, as we continue to give you analysis bit by bit from now till Tuesday, you will hear the outcome of the election, all things being equal.
Thank you very much, Mia Ogidi from Oka in Anambra State, speaking with the resident electoral commissioner, Mr. Nkwachuku Orji. Joining us in the studio is Barrister Felix Ogwadu, is a former Assistant Inspector General of Police. Of course, we understand that earlier in the week, the Nigerian police also assured Anambra citizens of their safety during the elections. Now let me welcome Barrister Felix Ogwadu. Apart from being a former Assistant Inspector General of Police, who you are actually Commissioner of Police in Anambra State at the time in your career, especially. It was also topsy-turvy time at the time because we had some issues politically also in that state. But what should the security agencies be doing now on the eve of elections such as this?
Well, first and foremost, thanks for having me. The security agencies should intensify their patrols to make sure that they're moving from one community to the other, to make sure nothing untoward is happening anywhere. Because the absence of security fuels insecurity. But if you have overwhelming police presence, like I used to say, that shouldn't scare anybody. It only scares those that have criminal intentions. So they should move around, make sure that we're going to have a free, fair, and peaceful election come tomorrow.
You've worked there, talking about the terrain. How is it for to be policed? And your experiences there, share with us, especially now that we're looking forward to, elections, unfold tomorrow.
Well, Anambra State is not a difficult place to police. That is the gospel truth. Apart from the few communities that border the River Niger, banks a lot, the other places are accessible. And for a very long time, for the period I was there, 2004 to 2005, early 2006, I led for NIPS in Kuru Jos. We didn't have any issue. They were very law-abiding, and we didn't have any major challenge. But what we are referring to was war-led removal of the CP whom I took over from. That was at the time when the then governor was well, let's say abducted or kidnapped to take it somewhere. And eventually released before I got in there. So essentially, I don't foresee any problem.
But if that could have happened even in 2004 and 5,
2004.
Yeah, 4, one would expect that the police should up the ante this time. Because, just as you laughingly, referred to it, at that time already, people who are in politics were as intrepid as possible at the time.
Yes, you see, that is one of the major challenges we're having in politics in Nigeria. The desperation is so much. They've turned politics to a do-or-die affair. They see it as an avenue for enriching themselves, not going there to render service to the people, not going there to leave legacies that will outlive them. But with the present strength the police are displayed on ground right now as we speak, because they deployed about 34,500 police officers to police and protect this election coming up tomorrow. So honestly, I don't envisage any crisis. And the good thing is that IPOB, that was a huge threat, has said that there is no sit-at-home order. It's suspended. People should come out and cast their votes, Come out and choose who you want to be your governor when the tenure of the incumbent expires. And there's no security threat there. So although they must have had some skirmishes here and there, but the thing is that the police presence in Anambra State is overwhelming. And I don't have any issue with that, because the more the merrier. And when I keep on hearing people saying that, oh, the police presence is too much, a lot of people are going to be discouraged from coming. They feel threatened. Why would you feel threatened if your hands are clean in terms of crime commission and all of that? You shouldn't feel threatened. And they've been properly briefed to make sure they perform their functions tomorrow professionally.
All right.
So they're not out there to go and intimidate anybody. That's it.
Okay, talking about the, stakeholders, those who have climbed the podium and made promises, we understand it has, become something of an expected political ritual. So candidates for the Anambra governorship election this week signed the Peace Accord.
Peace Accord, yes.
Former head of state and chairman, National Peace Committee, General Salam Abubakar, advised them to be peace ambassadors, not only in words, but in deeds.
Anambra, a state attracting national prayer for peaceful election. And the men of peace are here, preaching peace to the 18 candidates for the election. They have been told to be peace ambassadors and signatures of commitment on white paper. Smiles and handshakes across party lines.
We call on all the candidates, their parties and supporters to accept the outcome of the vote. We cherish Anambra State, and we cherish the peace and unity of Nigeria.
That just like Edo and Ondo, the election on Saturday will be peaceful and the outcome will reflect the will of the Anambra voters. INEC has done everything possible to ensure credible elections in Anambra State under very challenging circumstances.
Yes, please.
Nigerians pray such are replicated, and it is a time to wait till Saturday for such moments.
Yeah, apart from, IPOB, withdrawing stay-at-home order, over time, elections and perhaps the complexion of it is based on the rhetorics of the candidates, perhaps, inciting their supporters to one thing or the other. Even sometimes, this, after Peace Accord, you still see some saying one or two things. But at this time, when you have, in terms of what you've seen from the rhetorics, in terms of, the party politics and the ones who have climbed the podium, is there any cause for worry?
Honestly, there shouldn't be any cause for worry. Tomorrow's election has 18 contestants. 18 contestants who are taking part in the election. And like some people said in the past, some of them are contenders, others are pretenders. Out of the 18, I think we've not seen more than 3 or 4 of them, either on the electronic or print media, campaigning for votes, So the other ones are not very serious guys. So to a very large extent, I keep on emphasizing that in the election coming up tomorrow, I don't foresee any violence. Because anybody who dares it will regret his action. And I've always advised the electorate, don't allow anybody contesting political office to mislead you. And when they are given money, how much are they given? Peanuts. And for how long can such funds sustain them? What can those funds do for them? And most of these guys, when they bribe these gullible youths with peanuts and all of that, and they get into office, they have no business with them anymore. It's use and dump. So to that extent, my advice is that tomorrow's election, citizens of Anambra State should go and cast their votes for the person of their choice. They must not be brought under any pressure to vote for X. Now, not listening to blackmail and of that. Make up your mind on who you want to be your governor and cast your vote accordingly.
All right, before I let you go, we've seen some tactics in the past where, you make sure that there's some kind of context where your opponent is strong so that those votes will be cancelled and then we'll count the rest. How do we forestall such?
I'm very confident that INEC has really put the house in order. So a lot of the shortcomings we had in the past election, I'm sure they're going to be fully addressed if they ever come up this time around. Make sure election materials arrive on time, no delays and all of that. People are not disenfranchised, they go there, cast their votes and go. So that the whole thing can come peacefully. And my final advice is that, look, like I've always said, Those that indulge in violence, let them be warned and let them take note that it takes so little to destroy and so much to build. I repeat again, it takes very little to destroy, but takes so much to build. Can you imagine how huge are these NTA complexes? You know, the whole of this place can be brought down in 2-3 seconds if they throw some explosives there. But can it get it built back in 3-4 seconds? The answer is no. So that is why we must, no matter let us learn to control our angers and follow due process to express whatever is hurting us. But taking laws into our hands, resorting to violence, does not take us anywhere.
All right, if we have it ready, maybe we can take this one. INEC says it is set to conduct free and fair as far as credible governorship election comes Saturday. Chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, gave the assurance at the stakeholders meeting in Awka this week.
The meeting, which is at the instance of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, comes few days to the governorship election in Anambra State. The chairman of the commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, and other senior staff of the agency began by outlining modalities already put in place by the commission to deliver a transparent election.
I want to assure all voters in Anambra State that in designing the sensitive materials for the election, the Commission introduced additional and visible and invisible security features, including different color codes. The materials have also been customized by local government areas and for some categories of materials by polling units as well. The choice of the next governor for Anambra State is entirely in the hands of eligible voters in Anambra State, and their will must prevail.
I'm proud to say that the Commission has left no stone unturned in ensuring that the resources required for preparing for this election are provided.
On the issue of security, the IGP Baba Usman Akali was clear in his message to give maximum protection to lawful voters, while those planning to scuttle the process will be heavily resisted and contained.
I also wish to assure that personnel of the Nigerian Police Force, as the lead agency in election security management, shall remain impartial, firm, accountable, and professional in the exercise of their statutory duties as provided for the Electoral Act and other enabling laws.
The stakeholders drawn from the 18 participating political parties, civil society organizations, as well as the media, religious and traditional institutions, during the interactive section raised questions on some areas of doubt.
Of course, we hope that the election should be a free, fair one. And we should also, on our own, do so much to ensure that that objective is achieved.
It is important, while the security agencies have said they have worked tirelessly, or they are working tirelessly to provide security for all, it is important that they pay very close attention to people with disabilities, especially those 200 observers that are going to be observing the election.
We want to see how the security agencies, how professional they are, how they conduct themselves. We want to see how INEC, their officials, manage these elections. We want to see how the media itself is reporting the election. If they are
At the end of the meeting, the stakeholders left with an optimism that the electoral body, INEC, will do a thorough job.
And that has been Political Update for today. Don't forget, the Nigerian Television Authority will be live and direct from Anambra for Anambra Decides. Keep it locked on the Nigerian Television Authority for that. Many thanks to our guest, Mr. Felix Ogbaudu, former retired Assistant Inspector General of Police and former Commissioner of Police in Anambra State. Thank you very much for coming. And of course, Mr. Nwachukwu Orji also joined us from Awka. He's the Resident Electoral Commissioner of Anambra State. And so to you in Anambra State, Nigeria wishes you well. In Awka, go and vote wisely. In Nnewi, go out and vote wisely and peacefully. Onitsha, go out and vote wisely and peacefully. Fisa Ogunfi is my name. Thanking you for staying tuned. All the best. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and play your politics for the greater good. Bye-bye now.